When you think about different levels of NASCAR racing, you probably just think about the big three: the Truck Series, Xfinity, and Cup. In reality, there are currently 11 NASCAR racing series worldwide, and there have been nearly 30 in the history of NASCAR. They've held everything from regional modified divisions to open wheel leagues. Today we're going to take a deep dive into a series that isn't talked about nearly as much as it should be: NASCAR's Convertible division. Despite only lasting 4 seasons, it has had a lasting impact on NASCAR and affects it until today. Hey guys, just before this video starts, I want to tell you about an awesome deal from my friends at the Daily Downforce. They just released the NASCAR 75 Greatest Drivers magazine, and by using my promo code NFJJ75 at checkout, you will get a free content creator sticker sheet with your favorite NASCAR creators. Make sure to click the top link in the description and enter promo code NFJJ75. Now, let's get right into the video. After the conclusion of World War II, the American economy began to boom. One of the leading factors was the rise in the automobile market. No longer did consumers want a car just to get from point A to point B, they wanted to do it in style. Convertibles quickly became one of the most popular models of cars, and all the big US manufacturers followed consumer demand and began to produce their own. With the rise in automobile racing at the same time, it was just a matter of time before someone started organizing convertible races. In 1952, Chuck Sharf began the SAFE series, short for the Society of Autosports Fellowship and Education. There is an entire video that could be made on SAFE, but all we need to know for this video is that they held the first and most popular convertible races. After the 1955 season, Bill France swooped in and negotiated a deal to acquire the series. This was actually one of Bill's first very ambitious moves to grow the sport of NASCAR. France was in the planning stages of building Daytona International Speedway, but was still far from breaking ground. But Bill and his team got to work and put together a monster 47-race season for the first ever NASCAR Convertible Division season in 1956. It wasn't going to be a lot of slouches racing either. Recognize any of these names? Joe Weatherly, Curtis Turner, Marvin Panch, Fireball Roberts, and Herb Thomas. A lot of really good Grand National drivers saw this as a chance to compete for more wins and championships. See, they didn't really see this as a feeder series like we view the Xfinity and Truck Series today. The Convertible Series was just its own thing, and they wanted to win. The first race came at none other than Daytona Beach. Joe Weatherly set on the pole, but only managed to stay there for 5 laps before Curtis Turner found his way through. No one else could touch Turner as he led the remaining 35 laps and cruised to the checkered flag. Turner won the first 3 races and continued his dominance throughout the season. Turner would enter 42 of the 47 races and win 22 of them. However, he didn't win the championship due to his 14 DNFs. The champion would actually be Bob Welborn, a 28-year-old from Denton, North Carolina. Bob won 3 of the first 9 races of the season, but he didn't win again for the rest of the year. Despite his young age, he kept his car clean and was just amazingly consistent, scoring 32 top 5s in 45 races. He only had 2 finishes outside of the top 15 all season long. Another incredible and weird statistic from Bob's championship season: he only finished on the lead lap 5 times all year long. 47 races happened in year 1, but the series must not have been as profitable as NASCAR had hoped. Season 2 featured only 36 races. Despite the downsizing, Tim Flock took home a hefty grand prize of $3,750 for winning the Daytona Beach Road Course. This was more money than dozens of Grand National races. However, the typical convertible race paid much less than $1,000 to win. This was Tim Flock's first race in the series, but he dominated by getting pole and leading nearly half the race. About a third of the way through the season, the Convertible division rolled up to their biggest event of the entire year, the Rebel 300 at Darlington. This was huge for the series, as they needed to find some crown jewel events to get the fans excited. So far, the series had only raced on short tracks, dirt tracks, and an occasional road course. Racing at Darlington, a fan-favorite track, would be sure to draw in the fans. And it did, as nearly 20,000 fans packed into Darlington on Saturday, May 11th. In typical NASCAR fashion, the race was rained out and pushed back to Sunday. But by law, they were prohibited to race. The blue law prohibited automobile races longer than 250 miles to take place on a Sunday. But the race promoter decided to run the race on Sunday and take the loss from the fines, as they would not be able to race on Monday because of the Grand National's Southern 500. Fireball Roberts would lead more than 180 laps and take home the checkered flag for the first Rebel 300. 1957 was shaping up to have an interesting championship battle. Joe Weatherly was racing full-time and performing, while Curtis Turner was racing most of the races but battled inconsistency once again. 1956 champ Bob Welburn threw himself back into contention after a summer stretch where he won 6 of 7 races, his only 6 victories of the season. But Bob, once again, with his incredible consistency, took home the 1957 championship. In 1958, there was even more shrinking for the Convertible series. Only 19 races were on the schedule, compared to the 47 just a couple of years prior. The big names like Fireball Roberts, Curtis Turner, Joe Weatherly, and other one-off Grand National drivers were just not showing up to the track. The interest in the series from fans and competitors alike was in decline. Despite only taking place in 5 races, Curtis Turner won the series' 2 biggest races, the Daytona Beach Road Course and the Rebel 300. However, the 1958 season was covered by one black eye. Gwen Staley was a 30-year-old Grand National driver from Burlington, North Carolina. Gwen was shaping up to be a NASCAR star. In the previous year, he entered only 13 Grand National races and won 3 of them. He started the 1958 season with 4 top 5s in the first 5 races. Staley also competed in the first 2 seasons of the Convertible division, scoring a win in each season so far. However, when the Convertible division rolled into Richmond, tragedy would strike. Early on in the race, Staley was running in 4th place. He was hit by another racer and lost control of his car. It flipped 3 times and struck a fence. His car came to rest upside down, pinning Gwen inside. Sadly, he passed away before the rescue team was able to get him to a nearby hospital. But the 1958 season continued on, and it was Bob Welburn who led the series in wins for the first time in his career. He cruised to his 3rd straight Convertible Division championship. After this accomplishment, he quickly became known as the King of the Convertible Division. 1959 would ultimately be the final season of the Convertible Division. But the event with the most lasting impact would also happen to start the season. For the first race at Daytona International Speedway, the event would be kickstarted with 2 qualifying races to set the starting grid for the first Daytona 500. The first qualifier would be normal stock cars, and the second would be convertibles. Then, all the cars would be in the 500. Honestly, I don't know if Bill France was swinging for the fences trying to save the Convertible series, or if he was just wanting to pack the race with cars. Whatever the case, NASCAR had 59 entries for the Daytona 500, with 20 of them being convertibles. Ironically, it was Bob Welburn who won the Grand National Stock Car Qualifying Duel, while Shorty Rollins won the Convertible Duel. Despite the Grand National cars having a clear speed advantage, Joe Lee Johnson managed to finish 16th as the highest finishing convertible. He beat 5 Grand National cars on pure speed. Bob Welburn finished in 41st place after leading 9 laps early on and blowing an engine before the halfway mark. Not that it's of any importance, but I thought that it was pretty funny that there were 7 drivers in the field named Bob, and all of them finished worse than 30th. 1959 was an underwhelming year to say the least. Richard Petty, Ned Jarrett, Lee Petty, and other Grand National drivers dropped down to the series and claimed wins, but the interest was just not there anymore. Joe Lee Johnson was the final champion of the division, the only one not named Bob Welburn. Interestingly, for the following 3 years, the Rebel 300 continued at Darlington as part of the Grand National Series, and they still raced convertibles for this event only. No idea why, but it's a pretty wild idea to have the entire field drive a different car just for one race out of the entire season. I wonder if fans thought this was a gimmick back in the day, or if they supported the idea. The race finally moved to normal stock cars in 1963, but the convertible division is the reason why the Cup Series had 2 dates at Darlington every year until 2005. Since 2020, Darlington has regained its second spot on the calendar and has continued the legacy of the Rebel 300, which is now 400 miles. But anyways guys, that's it for this video. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, make sure you leave a like and subscribe so you never miss a video. Also, don't forget to click the top link in the description and enter promo code NFJJ75 to get free stickers of your favorite NASCAR content creators. Anyway, that's it for this video. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace.